Welcome back to NBCLX. I'm Jo Beth DeVera. Last week, Facebook announced that it will stop publishing ads that actively discourage people from getting vaccinated or ads that portray vaccines as unsafe and ineffective. Now, this move is likely attributed to a report that was recently released from the Center for Countering Digital Hate. And the report showed how Facebook and other big tech powers are profiting from hosting anti-vaccine content, groups, and accounts. So let's dive into this a bit more with the CEO of CCDH, Imran Ahmed. Thank you so much for being with us today, Imran. Let's start first with your report. What were the key findings in how these big tech companies are profiting from anti-vax ads?
Well, good morning, Jo Beth. Our report found that there is a huge amount of anti-vax content hosted on these websites. Some of it is organic content, so it's produced by users, and it's given special pushes. The algorithm pushes it into people's timelines because it is controversial, it's engaging, it's different, and people are interested in what's different. And they'll click on that material and look at it for longer. And of course, all these platforms care about is how long you spend on that platform. Because the longer you spend on that platform, the more time they have to serve you ads, and therefore the more profit they get. 98% of Facebook's revenues come from advertising that you watch as you scroll through your timeline. But there's another another way that they make money, and that's through literally taking money from anti-vaxxers to put their advertising containing misinformation and forcing it into people's timelines. So not just because it's been shared or because it's popular, but forcing it in there. And it is extraordinary to me that their business ever was one where they would take money from some of the worst people in society, people who will lie for profit about vaccines, which are one of the safest, most effective, most consequential medical interventions invented in the last 200 years, and that they will spread those lies for a buck.
That's fascinating. Can you walk us through how this all works exactly, from, one person who puts out the false information on social media and then how that's able to spread so fast?
Well, the way that the algorithms that underpin any social media platform work are that they serve the company, not you, the user. And the aim of that algorithm, the aim of your timeline, for example, which is no longer literally a timeline of the most recent posts, but it is in fact an ordered list of posts by the most engaging. Because what the platform needs you to do is continue to scroll down from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And in working out what is the most engaging, they look for what is the most controversial. Now, at a really simple level, who retweets the CDC? Or who talks back to the CDC's official account, which is the Center for Disease Control, which is the official body that looks at disease and its spread? Virtually no one. It's a weird thing to do, let's be frank. But who engages with someone who is spreading misinformation? Well, not just the people that agree, but often the millions and millions of us who disagree. And by showing that it's controversial, the platform says, you know what, this is good content. And so it pushes it up into your timeline. Now, that's the main way that misinformation is getting into our systems. And let's be absolutely clear on this. Facebook are doing nothing about that at all. Neither are they removing the people who spread misinformation, nor are they changing their algorithms so they stop promoting bad information over good information. But what they are doing is very specifically saying that where someone is a very wealthy anti-vaxxer, as they call themselves, and there are a few, we detail them in our report, which you can find at our website, counterhate.co.uk. It's the anti-vax industry report that we've shown that quite often they'll actually place ads. So they'll give Facebook money and say, I'd like to target X 100,000 people with these particular characteristics, and here's some dosh for it. And Facebook have been taking that money. It's extraordinary. to spread misinformation that can put lives at risk for profit. And yet Facebook have now banned that in the last few days, last week in fact. I think they want us to say congratulations. What we should be saying is, how on earth did you ever think this was an acceptable business?
Right. Now, how does this all play into the coronavirus pandemic and then the potential of a COVID-19 vaccine coming out as soon as late this year, early next year? How does this play into that?
Well, I mean, COVID-19 has just been a spur for immense growth in all sorts of conspiracy theories. So conspiracy theories breed really well where there is uncertainty. And COVID-19 is, of course, it's a new disease. We've never seen it before. Of course, it has created a lot of anxiety, a lot of confusion. The scientific method is such that as scientists discover a new bit of information, their models change. And that means that in those spaces in between each individual sort of leap in our understanding, conspiracy theories have leapt in with their own theories, which kind of have a little bit of, maybe they make common sense sometimes. Well, this is so terrible. Surely it must be caused by something terrible as well. And so they ascribe a motive to, unfortunately, what is a natural zootropic pathogen, a disease that comes from another species, has leapt into humankind. This happens from time to time. We've seen it with SARS, for example, a few years ago, the avian flu, but we've seen it throughout history as well. And think of one of the most famous diseases was the plague, which the vector was rats. And so what we've seen here is this new disease that creates huge amounts of confusion, and people have kind of filled the space of our lack of understanding with conspiracy. We know that this happens every time, and Facebook knows that it happens every time, and yet they still seem content to allow malignant actors, so people who with bad intentions, to take advantage of their systems and make the public do things that they really shouldn't be doing.
Well, clearly, a lot more things need to be changed in all of this. So, Imran, thank you so much for talking about this. It's a very important topic, and a lot of people should know about this. Again, what's the website to view the full report on this?
So you can go to our website, which is www.counterhate.co.uk, or have a look at our Twitter, which is ccdhate.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us today here on NBCLX.
Thanks, Joe Beth.